From Wall Street to Main Street, this is LALATE.
It's a big night because this next week will tell us where this economy is going in view of the changing economic developing details. On Friday, the Consumer Price Index number was released and it showed that inflation's out of control. This weekend, we watched as gasoline went out of control. And unemployment surged last Thursday. That's why it's important not to wait for Build Back Better Act, which would give you $15,000 to $80,000 of checks, but to get that forced stimulus check that is in every U.S. state tonight. In this recording, we're going to show how the members of this channel have been cleaning up upwards of $80,000 of checks and how you got to get it. Step 1, stay to the second half of this video. Step 2, become a member. And Step 3, get ready for the biggest payout of stimulus checks you've ever seen. It's coming up later in tonight's primetime broadcast of Evenings LA. But we have a lot of troubling data to start a new week. Yes, auto sales dropping dramatically, down 24% year to date. Housing down 17% year to date. And yes, there's potentially a recession coming in 2023. But my concern for you is not 2023. My concern is the next 90 days. Can you survive in the next 90 days with no Build Back Better Act done? Gas prices are surging out of control, and they could go to $10 a gallon in the next 90 days. $185 a barrel for international Brent crude. That's not the start of our problems. More other problems as well. The Consumer Price Index number released on Friday, 8.5% inflation, and it's not coming down. Then unemployment surging out of control. Those numbers continue to skyrocket. There's a series of data points at issue tonight, and that data point suggests that the economy is not calming down. And with that lack of calm in the economy, the stock market crash of 2022 would continue. The housing market crash of 2022 to worsen. And the other economic data points at issue is that the situation for you may become more extended. That's why you can't wait to become a member. Go right into this video tonight. Become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. Join this channel and get the newsletter that everyone's talking about. The newsletter that has all those incredible forced stimulus checks now in every U.S. state in them. And over this big broadcast in prime time, we're going to go over all those incredible checks. Stay tuned as America's most watched show for financial news starts right now in prime time. And good evening, everybody. It's a big night with a lot of data at issue. And the question at point is how bad this economy could get. Over this broadcast tonight, we're going to go over the data at issue, and you don't want to wait. You want to get those incredible checks, a forced stimulus check in every U.S. state, get it right tonight. Do not wait because this economy is getting worse. And over this 1 hour broadcast, we're going to go over how worse it's going to get. The issue at hand is the falling numbers. The falling numbers from housing, labor, auto, and also the U.S. GDP. We're going to go over all that data point tonight, and we have a lot to see and a lot to know. But the issue at hand is your money and the future of all that money. You got to get that forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. You got to get it right today. You got to get it this minute, because in 90 days from now, this economy ain't going to look anything like how it looks tonight. It's going to be horrible. And next year, it's going to be even worse. What's happening? What's happening to this economy? And why have things changed so dramatically? Let's go over the data points tonight, starting right now. This economy, if you do not realize it, but I think you do, is not the economy of February 2022. What are we having tonight? We're having problems with inflation. We're having problems with recession. We're having problems with unemployment. We're having problems with housing, auto. We're having problems about everything. And that is why you can't wait a second to get a forced stimulus check that is in every U.S. state. You gotta get it tonight because it's massive sums of money. And the Build Back Better Act will come in 90 days from now. And by then, the economy will be a lot worse and you may not financially survive the downward spiral of this economy. That is why back in the month of March, viewers said, LA, the economy's doing sort of good at the moment, but I'm sort of struggling. Can you give me a stimulus check? Thank God I did. Because tonight, for June 12th, 2022, this U.S. economy is struggling very badly. And in 90 days from now, by September, it's going to be horrible. You may not survive if you wait around for the Build Back Better Act, which would give you additional checks on top of the existing checks that are in every U.S. state. You got to get the money tonight. And how do you do it? You stay with me over the second half of this recording and watch and listen and learn. But you also do the following other things. You go right on this video right now and hit that subscribe button. You become a member. You get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and you go right in there and get these checks. How much checks am I talking about? I am talking about monster checks, upwards of $80,000. You qualify if you're single, if you're married, if you're on benefits, if you're not, if you have children, if you rent. Every U.S. state, don't tell me your state doesn't have it, because it does. If you don't want it, that's fine. You can leave. I got other people who want the money, and they'll have your money if you don't want it. Because guess what? In 90 days, you're going to really need it. And if you don't grab it now, then guess how bad this economy is going to be. You don't have to guess, because I'm going to go over the data point right now. In the next 90 days, this is what's going to happen based upon my predictions of this channel. Unemployment will surge dramatically, gas prices will go higher, and interest rates will go higher as well. Also in the next 90 days, price of goods will go higher, the recessionary winds will pick off land, and the mortgage rates will surge dramatically. Meantime, also in the next 90 days, consumer confidence will drop, consumer spending will drop, consumer income will drop. That hurts if you are also a small business owner. Then do not depend on gas going lower. It's not going to happen in the next 90 days. Do not depend on inflation going lower, and do not depend on fast action from Congress to get you congressional stimulus. The viewership of this channel have learned over the last 2 years since this channel launched in April 2020. There's a lot of ways to get stimulus. It's not just by Congress. And if you think it's only by Congress, you must have just found this channel. The President of the United States can give you stimulus by executive order. And he has. And he has. It's coming up later in this recording. Not one, but 2 executive orders. Then the states can give you stimulus as well. And not one, but lots of checks. Those checks are coming up later in this recording. You got to grab these checks because the downward spiral of this economy is very severe. And in fact, the projections of where this economy is dependent upon hearing the right analysis. That right analysis has started with you, that is often stopped with Wall Street, that has gotten really wrong in the last few months. Let's go over the data points tonight. The data points tonight start with that consumer price index number that was released on Friday. 8.5% year-to-date adjusted basis was the number released. It spooked Wall Street. They were looking for 8.4%. It basically said that inflation went higher. Higher for the month of May, when we're expecting it to be flat or go down. Now, let's be realistic here. Back last spring in 2021, not 2022's spring, I was the only person in the American economy in the broadcast financial news that said we're going to 8% inflation by December 2021. It happened. And then what happened thereafter? Well, Jay Powell said it wasn't going to happen. He was wrong. Then he said it's going to come down. He was wrong. Wall Street said it was going to be temporary, transitory. They were wrong. And then Jay Powell said, I'm going to use my tools in my toolbox. He's the head of the Federal Reserve, of course, to get inflation down. I said he does not have a single tool to get inflation down. It's never going to work because inflation is currently caused in this U.S. economy by supply chain disruption. That's the inability to get the product from the manufacturer to you in a timely manner. Guess what happened? Everything I said that was going to happen, happened. Inflation came in at 8% last December. Jay Powell was spooked. He wasn't prepared for it. Then he said, I'm going to raise interest rates. He did. 1, 2, 3 times to reduce inflation. It didn't work. Now what's happening tonight? CFOs, who are corporate financial officers, one of the top people in the companies, are coming out and saying, Jay Powell is not doing it. He ain't going to do it. He doesn't have the tools. And now repeating what I've been saying. So what does this mean for you? It means for you that the circumstance right tonight for inflation, it may not be even the peak. Here's what's brand new tonight. If inflation surged last month, in the month of May, to 8.5% when it was 8.4% in April, because Jay Powell does not have the tools, do you think Jay Powell's gaining the tools to deal with inflation tonight? He's not. So Jay Powell is doubling down and repeating what he's doing, and yet the supply chain disruptions is causing inflation. Will you see more supply chain disruption in the month of June? You will, because of the ancillary result of that lockdown that was going on in China last month. So expect inflation to go even higher, because Jay Powell's not going to fix it. Now, what's important to understand is that that's not the start of our problems. We also have this problem. Unemployment. We've been talking about this as a family because you know and see things before anyone else. I've trained you really well on this channel to be the eyes and ears of everything that's going on in this economy before I can report it and before Wall Street can mess it up. I said, can you go in your stores, your big box retailers, and report to me in the live chat, less or more, less or more. Do it right now, less or more, right? Do you see less or more checkers, employees at the checkout? Viewers over the last month said less or zero. Yes or no, people have been laid off in your local big box retailers. Yes or no, you or your friends or your family seen people laid off. Yes or no, viewers said yes. Wall Street over the last month, shame on them, have been getting this really wrong. They said there's great job security, no one's being laid off. Wrong. They said that there is a labor shortage. Wrong. They said that the employees can demand salary raises and hiring bonuses because there's too many jobs for them. Wrong. How do we know it's wrong? Because the unemployment numbers that came in last Thursday, were horrible. 240,000 approximately new jobless claims released last Thursday. Why is this so bad for you and this economy? It goes right back to Build Back Better. Because remember, in negotiating the Build Back Better Act provisions, there's nothing in there for unemployment stimulus. There's no FPUC, there's no PUA, there's no UI. If you got laid off tomorrow, you may think, oh, well, I got laid off in 2020 during the pandemic. They're going to give me that $600 a week on top of my existing benefits, and they'll extend the number of weeks. They'll give me FPUC. No. None of that exists anymore. If you get laid off tomorrow, what do you got? You got me. You got this community because I got you a forced stimulus check in every U.S. state because there is no unemployment benefits from 2020 anymore. That forced stimulus check in every U.S. state is very much needed. Now, this is not the only scope of the problems for this economy. The other scope of the problems tonight, of course, is the gas prices. The gas prices this last weekend surged out of control, and those gas prices will not be coming down. Why? Very simple analysis. There is no replacement for the gasoline found. 3.5 million barrels of gasoline are now missing the U.S. economy and internationally. Why? Because that embargo against Vladimir Putin. With that gasoline now missing, what are they going to do? They don't have a solution. And with no solution, expect the gasoline prices to surge to $10 a gallon in the next few weeks and $185 a barrel international Brent crude. Excuse me, LA? Did you just say $10 a gallon? I did just say $10 a gallon. In the last week, we have watched the price of gasoline at the pump, AAA national average, surge really dramatically from mid-4s, low 4s dollars a gallon to now a clear $5 plus. That's the average. Now, here in Los Angeles, clearly 7 plus, heading to 8. But the problem at hand is that no one of any of these countries, including Germany, France, United States, Italy, have any plan lined up to get oil to replace it. And if they don't, the gas prices are going to go higher. Collectively, you're seeing the narrative of what I'm saying in this recording is that with all these economic problems at hand, and we're just getting started, you got to get that forced stimulus check that's in every U.S. state. That forced stimulus check you got to grab right now, and you got to grab every check you can get in this recording in the second half, because this economy is bad now, and it's going to be a lot worse. You see the narrative? However bad this economy is tonight, it's going to be a lot worse thereafter. This is where it differs between you and the rest of the American landscape. Tonight we learned that going into the new week, the consumer confidence in the U.S. economy is the lowest we've seen since the start of the pandemic because of that CPI number. When that CPI number was released on Friday, analysts then quickly said, gauging the consumer confidence right now, we see the lowest consumer confidence since the start of the pandemic. This means that people not on lockdown right now think that the economy is worse than it was when they're on lockdown. And they think this is as bad as it's going to get. Here we go. It's only the start of it. It's only the start of the downward spiral of this U.S. economy, because we have this stage, then in 90 days from now, it's going to be a lot worse. And then the big stage, of course, is the front lead stage of recession starting January of next year. That is why you can't wait to get this money. On Friday, the situation was very dire. Dow Jones dropped 900 points, 2.7%. The S&P fell 2.91%. The NASDAQ fell 4%. Individual stocks, much the same. Apple down 4%, Amazon down 5%. And it was the situation that we've seen for the last few months. Oil stocks up, tech down, retail down, even banking down, like Goldman Sachs down 5%, and Wells Fargo down 6%. Why is this happening? Because as soon as that consumer price index number was released, which is an inflationary number, which spooked the markets, they were looking at 8.4%. It came in at 8.5%. They said, wait a second, inflation's higher than it was the month before? We didn't expect this. The reaction came in from Greg McBride, Chief Financial Officer at Bankrate, and Chief Financial Analyst. And he said the ugly trend of inflation is why the Federal Reserve is poised to hike interest rate by a 0.5 percentage point in May and begin letting their portfolio run off. The Fed will be pressing firmly on the brake pedal, not just pumping the brakes. The immediate impact on the consumer sentiment on Friday came in with this drop of consumer confidence. It just reinforces the impact that the CPI number has on consumer psyche. That's confidence. We can only guess that going forward, it's going to have a negative future impact on consumer spending. It already has. It's a shocking number, but this is what inflation does when it's running as hot as it is, says Peter Bukavar, Blakely Advisor Group head. The impact on Treasury yields felt immediately when the CPI number was released. Two-year Treasury yields jumped to 3% on Friday, the highest level since 2008. If you have any type of debt at home that is based upon flexible interest rate, get rid of it quickly. Get rid of it quickly. That is anything for car loans, credit card debt. Switch it into a fixed rate if you can. Why? Because I'm predicting over the next 3 FOMC meetings of Jay Powell, he's going to do 0.5 basis point. Jay Powell's your head of the Federal Reserve, and he's going to battle inflation as strongly as he can. Half is what I'm predicting. Now, I'm going to say tonight for the first time on Evenings LA, I believe this next week you're likely going to have analysts say, maybe Jay Powell's going to have to do 0.75 of a basis point at the next FOMC meeting. He may. I got to tell you, this number is horrible, folks. This number is horrible. He is going to hit it really hard, and everyone and his sister and brother knows what's going to happen. His hitting that raising of inflation really hard is going to send you into recession. And that is why that consumer confidence number last Friday basically said, Americans don't believe that storm is out to sea like I say it, or that hurricane is down the road like Jamie Dimon says. They think it's already arrived. Let's go over the analysis right now. In that consumer confidence report released on Friday, consumers believe this is the worst part of the economy right now. No, it's not. This is just the start. In 90 days from now, this U.S. economy will be a lot worse. And then in January of next year, we'll be in recession. Jamie Dimon, head of JP Morgan Chase, last week repeated my comments I said over 3 months ago, which were the following. There's a storm out to sea, and that storm out to sea is about to touch on land, and within 90 days, it's going to be a lot worse, this economy. We're going to have a downward spiral. Dimon's comments were much the same. There's a hurricane down the road, he said, and that hurricane road down the road is about to hit. We disagree on recession. He won't use the word recession, but we both agree that in the next 90 days, this situation is going to be very dire. So let's go over the situation of the next 90 days and why it's so important to get those stimulus checks right tonight. Unemployment is going to surge higher. At 240,000 new jobless claims last Thursday, that's a horrible number. When we started the pandemic, we were at 200,000 jobless claims, new jobless claims per week, and we shot up to 1 million. It should be at 180 tonight. It's at 240. I expect it to surge higher and higher to it approaches soon, potentially, to 300,000. Gas prices will go even higher. You may be paying an average of $5 at the pumps as AAA national average, but laying this according, I'll explain to you how I believe it's going to head to 10. It's not going to be immediate rise to 10, but it's going to be moving up there. And those interest rates will definitely be going higher because Jay Powell is going to raise those interest rates at those FOMC meetings. Also going higher in the next 90 days is your price of goods. Your goods are going to go higher. Your wheat, your bread, your milk, all the products you buy at the supermarket, going to go higher. And that recessionary wind you're fearing out to sea is going to pick up, and you're going to see it. You're going to see that recession of next year getting closer to land. Final mortgage rates will go through the roof. They surged from 3% to 5.5% when Jay Powell just had 2 interest rate spikes. Imagine if he has 3 more, how high they're going to go. Get ready for 6% mortgage rates. Lower in the next 90 days will be the following. One, consumer confidence. Consumer confidence will fall apart in the next 90 days if it's not that already. Next, consumer spending will fall apart in the next 90 days. Do not expect to see consumer spending on travel, leisure. The narrative that people were spending and spending and spending their shoes off is absolutely untrue. They were just buying household goods like detergent and household cleansers and things like that, but they had to pay more money for it. They're not spending their shirts off. They're just having to spend more money for the same product. And then discretionary income is going to drop. Do not expect employers to pay higher salaries or higher bonuses. This is going to swap from a labor shortage to a labor demand issue. Employers will not be hiring. And we saw last month that the number of new jobs created in the month of May fell dramatically. Meantime, do not depend on the next 90 days of following events to happen. Do not expect gas to go lower. It's not going to. Do not expect inflation to go lower. It's not going to happen. And do not expect Congress to pass the Build Back Better Act fast in the next 90 days. Here's what you need to know when talking about that Build Back Better Act and your 90 days and your fourth stimulus. There's different ways to approach the situation, but you have to have a heart when you're talking about fourth stimulus as a broadcaster. Why? Because people who are looking for forced stimulus are looking for that money to get them through financial uncertainty. And that financial uncertainty is going to be a lot worse in 90 days than it is tonight. Let me go over the data at issue starting right now. When you talk about forced stimulus, there's a lot of different topics of forced stimulus. There's ones from Congress, there's ones from the presidents. There are ones from the states. As a viewer, as a consumer, who's looking to get some stimulus, you may be thinking, well, that congressional bill, that Build Back Better Act looks really good. Maybe I should hold out for it. Here's my takeaway on it tonight. The Build Back Better Act will pass. The Build Back Better Act will pass before the midterm elections. The Build Back Better Act will have lots of money in there, $15,000 to $80,000 of incredible checks in there. But here's my new narrative for you tonight. I don't want you to focus on something that potentially would pay you 90 days out from now. Because in 90 days out from now, this economy is going to be in the garbage can. You simply cannot wait it out. I used on Afternoons LA an analogy. An analogy was spring of 2021. You know the day that this channel had the worst traffic ever? It was the week after a stimulus check went out. Why? People got a stimulus check, $1,200, and they thought, I'm good. How good are you for? I'm good for for a minute. How good are you for? I would be back, when I'm in trouble. And they were not back for that week or that day, maybe, half a week, 2 weeks. But after they used up that check, after that check was spent, viewers said, I need more money. I need more money. And what's at issue tonight is much like that. In 90 days from now, you're going to really need money, because the economic situation that's bad today is going to be 1,000% worse then. And you're going to need money. And if you hold out for Build Back Better Act in 90 days from now, you're going to be in big trouble. So that is why I love you. Because back in March, the viewership of this channel, who are so smart, so on point, watch the videos, learn and educate and pounce, understood in February, March, this economy is doing pretty good. This economy is doing pretty good, but I'm not doing that great financially. Can you find me a stimulus check, LA? It's March of 2022. Get the money now for me, LA, when the economy's doing pretty well. I assume that they have find some money. I did. The President of the United States had done 2 executive orders in March. I got those stimulus checks coming up laying this video for you. They're check A and check B. Then I looked high and low, and states had some stimulus checks because they were doing really well. It was a heyday. It was March and February when this economy was doing really well. And states said, hey, we have a lot of leftover money. Let's spend it on you. Everyone was spending in February, March. Where are we tonight? Tonight, we're in that transitionary period from a great time of February, March to a really bad time in September. In September, it's going to be a fiasco. And that is why you got to get the checks from the good times of February and March before the fiasco hits. It's the analogy that I used on this channel when we launched back in 2020. Don't look for rent assistance when you're being evicted. Look for rent assistance when you're in just sort of a muddy time, where it's sort of, I'm not doing that good, but I'm not being evicted. Let me get the money right now in case the situation gets worse. That is what we're doing later in this recording. Now, here is what's different between you and I got to tell you what's happening in 90 days from now. The consumer confidence report released on Friday said that Americans believe that this is the recession. Right now, in June 12th, 2022, it's not. They believe that this was the lowest that we're going. It's not. And they believe that it's going to be a short reversal and they're coming right back out of it. It's not. And imagine with that mindset, if they believe this is the worst, and just September is going to be a lot worse than this, and January is going to be implosion. Yeah. Let me give you an analysis so you understand how bad it's going to be. My prediction is that September 2022 is going to look as bad as day one of the pandemic's lockdown of March 2020. This September is going to look like the start of the pandemic. It's going to look like that magnitude of impact on your wallet, magnitude of impact on your small business owner, or your job security. It's going to look like that. How bad is January 2023 going to look like? It's going to look like nothing you've seen of a generation. If you never endured a recession before, it's going to look horrific. It's going to look like the pandemic times 10. That's how bad 2023 is going to look. So why would you wait to get a forced stimulus check that is in every U.S. state? You would get it right tonight. Of course you would get that forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. And guess what's at issue? Is that the situation that I've been describing so far is just the economy as a whole. It's not even the impact that the gasoline situation is going to do to you as well. Yes, we just went over inflation. Yes, we just went over unemployment. But next, another problem is the gasoline. The gasoline could absolutely tear this economy apart, even more so than it is right now. Could gasoline go to $10 a gallon? Could gasoline go to $185 a barrel? International Brent crude? The answer is yes, and let me go over the breaking news tonight. The breaking news tonight is that gasoline is surging internationally because the Western allies, since Halloween of 2021, when I first said there's 100,000 Russian troops at the Ukrainian border, have not done their job. All these leaders, all these countries should be ashamed of themselves because they understood that Vladimir Putin could invade Ukraine and that they needed to have a contingency plan lined up for oil if Putin invaded. Did they do it in October of last year? No. Were they told to do this in October of last year? They were. Joe Biden told Janet Yellen in October of last year, get ready contingency plan for gasoline if Putin invades. The White House had no contingency plan lined up. How much oil would be missing? Let's make this very clear. The missing Russian oil tonight is 3.5 million barrels, including the decreased production for OPEC+. As a U.S. producer of gasoline, we cannot produce 3.5 million barrels. If we do everything in Texas we can do, or Keystone Pipeline, we'll get a couple extra 100,000 barrels. We're not going to get 3.5 million barrels. So where do we get the 3.5 million barrels? It involves all the Western allies and the United States getting the gasoline from 5 possible sources. And we all knew that on this channel because I said in October 2021, it needs to be done then. We knew it had to be done in March when Putin invaded. We knew it had to be done in April. Tonight, it's June 12, 2022, and none of the Western Allies leaders, Germany, France, United States, United Kingdom, have gotten any of the possible 5 solutions lined up. There's only 5 countries. Let me go over what's the status on each of them. 1, Venezuela could provide us the supply of the missing gasoline. They're the number 1 export of gasoline. Why is the White House not doing a deal? Because they're a human rights violator. To make it more blunt, there was a conference here in Los Angeles all last week. The Conference of the Americas, basically a party. The White House did not invite Venezuela. They're out of the list. Next country, Brazil. Brazil is also perceived by the United States government as a human rights violator, and so the United States government has not pursued them as a choice as well. Number 3, Iran. Iran looked like the most likely choice back in April. At the time, I told you that Germany and France, on our behalf, were negotiating in Brussels and Vienna the JCPOA, a deal that would get that Iranian oil back in the circulation, and Iran promising to remove their nuclear warheads. And then the deal fell apart. We don't know why. The last 2 choices are a mixture because Saudi Arabia is part of OPEC+, and to do a deal with Saudi Arabia, you have to basically do a deal with OPEC+. The great news came about a week ago when OPEC+ said we'll increase production, but it's still not enough. What was the White House's reaction to the news? They poo-pooed it. A presser held in the White House press corps by the press secretary said, you know what? Okay. OPEC Plus is one of our solutions to get the 3.5 million barrels of gasoline missing per day back in circulation for all us and the Western allies. And the White House poo-pooed it. Here it gets more ridiculous. Over the last week, I've been reporting the following news story to you. The White House has one fifth and final option, and it's called Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is dominating news this week because of the golf tournament there, dominating news because of Phil Mickelson, dominating news for a lot of other reasons, and the same reason at issue comes back to gasoline. Do you do a deal with Saudi Arabia or do you not? 2 weeks ago, the president's press corps confirmed the president's going to Saudi Arabia potentially this week. At the time, off-the-record, unconfirmed sources said the president's going to Saudi Arabia to broker a deal on oil. Finally. Before we go over the analysis, let me tell you the importance of this. If the president got a deal on gasoline from Saudi Arabia, they have 3.5 million barrels of gasoline they can provide us a day. The gasoline shortage in the United States would be done. We wouldn't go to $10 a gallon, and we go back to those pre-pandemic levels of $3. We'd be done. Of all our major economic problems, one of the biggest ones, gasoline, would be solved in the matter of just 2 or 3 days of an official visit to Saudi Arabia. Done. Here's the results of that possibility number 5 tonight. 24 hours ago, the President of the United States jetted out of Santa Monica Municipal Airport, here, of course, in Santa Monica, and was asked point blank the question I've been asking for a week. Are you going to Saudi Arabia, Mr. President, to do a deal on gasoline? He said, no. No, I'm not. I'm going there for security. Gone was Saudi Arabia from the list of choices for gasoline. As if this looks even more ridiculous, the press reporter then asked the president, you see the price of gasoline surging? He says, yeah. Do you see there's a problem? Yes, there's a problem. It's Putin, and it is the price gouging of ExxonMobil. And then he trash talks ExxonMobil. Guess what happened? Nowhere in the scope of that conversation did he say what is his solution. He identified the problem. We don't know the gasoline's out of control. And he did not identify the solution. He identified it as price gouging that someone needs to do something with, and Janet Yellen just last week said price gouging is not the cause of the surge in gas prices. She said it's a demand and supply, which is largely driving inflation, and that's in direct conflict to Joe Biden's comments 24 hours ago, who said Exxon is making more money than God this last quarter. The takeaway is that tonight, the major problem in this U.S. economy, including inflation and recession looming, gas, there is no solution lined up by the White House, by Germany, by France, by England, by any of the Western allies. And with that, you could see the price of gasoline surging to $10 a gallon. That's domestically, unleaded, and $185 international Brent crude. Corporate America, banking America, financial analysts are all saying 185 international Brent crude. We're not quite sure about how high the gasoline prices would go. Some analysts say just, 6, maybe 7. It wouldn't be a shoot to the moon right to 10. But I got to tell you, if you can't afford where it is right now, it's just getting started. That's why you got to get that fourth stimulus check that is in every U.S. state, and we're going to get that in the big second half. If I've ever spooked you, I guess I might have done it just right now, because the situation is so dire. The situation is going to get so bad that you can't sit around and say, you know what, I'll wait. I'll wait and I'll see when that storm touches on land. You can't do it. That's why you got to get that check. You got to get every check that I got for you in the second half. A fourth stimulus check, not one, but many fourth stimulus checks are in every U.S. state. And we're going to go over all those incredible checks in the big second half. You qualify. Single individual, 75,000 or less, a married couple, SSI, SSDI. Have you become a member? My question to you tonight, are you a member of this channel? If the answer is no, what are you waiting for? You see all the people in the live chat with the purple hawks behind their name? They're members. Become a member and go right into that membership newsletter and get these big checks, upwards of $80,000. Imagine how different $80,000 would be for your livelihood and for your family's livelihood as we suffer an economic downturn in the next 90 days and even more trouble next year. In the big second half of this recording, we're going to go over all these incredible checks. Stay with me. But during the commercial break, do me a promise. Go right into the video and join. Hit that join button. Become a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. And in the big second half of this video, we'll be back with all these incredible checks We'll go over each of them one at a time, how you get them, how it works, and what you need to know. And then we'll go more over what to expect for next year with this economy. I'll see you back in 60 seconds as Evenings LA continues. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the big second half starts right now. For June 12, 2022, a forced stimulus check is in every U.S. state, and you deserve to get it because you do not want to wait. The downward spiral in this U.S. economy is just starting, and in 90 days from now, it's going to be a lot worse. In this big second half, we're going to go over these incredible checks. Did you become a member during the commercial break? I hope you did. Go right under this video and become a member. Subscribe right now and get that incredible newsletter and get those incredible checks. We're going to go over each of those checks one at a time, starting right now, as we go into the big second half of tonight's primetime show. The situation across the board is that stimulus can come from very different sources. It can come from Congress. It can come from a state. It can come from your president. And in the case of the forced stimulus checks I found from you, they came from the president and they came from your states. Presidential executive actions were done in March, which created the establishment of many big stimulus checks, $80,000 of them. And at the same time, states also did their own executive actions or legislative actions and established their state stimulus checks. And tonight, there is a stimulus check in every U.S. state. And I've given it a lettering system. Check A, check B, and check C. Let's go over all those incredible checks right now, how you get them, how they work, and what you need to know. The very first check is huge. First, let's go over eligibility, actually. Single individual, $75,000 or less, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 or less, go get it. If you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, veterans benefits, go get it. If you rent, if you own, if you have children, if you don't have children, if you're young or you're old, go get it. Let's go over all those incredible checks, and we're going to start with the very first check, which is a huge $6,500 to $12,000 check. This incredible check is Check A. I give it a lettering system on this channel. And that $6,500 to $12,000 check is available for you. It's a forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. Single individual, $75,000 or less, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 or less, go get it. It's called the Homeowner's Grant Check. And how do you get this incredible check? Step 1, subscribe to this channel. Step 2, become a member. Step 3, get that incredible newsletter delivered to members only, Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, via the YouTube alerts. And go right into that membership newsletter, Monday through Friday, and go right down to where it mentions Check A, and you see it, you click it, and you go right in and apply. What do I mean by click it? In the case of Check A, it's an online application. You can do it with your phone, you can do it with a computer. Open the newsletter, go right down to Check A, it explains how it works, and then you click the link, you go into the nationwide website, you choose your state, and you apply. Routing times are about 1 week out. Go get them. But we're not done there yet. That is Check A. We're going to go get Check B then. Check B is astronomically huge, $15,000 to $80,000. Viewers of the channel are averaging $66,000 to $80,000. It's a forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. Single individual, $75,000 less, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, go get it. And if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, veterans benefits, go get it. It's called the homeowner's grant check. How do you get this one? You know the routine. Very simple. Step 1, subscribe to this channel. Go right into the video and hit that subscribe button. Step 2, hit that bell at the front of this channel. Make sure all your alerts are on so you always get an alert from YouTube. Number 3, become a member. Go right in the video where it says join the channel and click the button. Become a Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP member. Then open that membership newsletter. It delivers Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And go right down to Check B. When you see Check B, you're going to see more links. And you click the link for this one, send you into the nationwide website, then choose your state, and you go on bounds. But you're not done there yet. No, you're going to go get Check C. If you're a renter, you get Check C. If you're a homeowner, you can also get Check C. It is generally a monthly stimulus check, an MSC, averaging $2,000 a month over 12 months, but many viewers have averaged $45,000, and a lot of viewers have averaged nearly $200,000. It is for rent, utilities, mortgages. This is more. It dates back to the very first days of this channel in December 2020. In December 2020, millions of Americans were watching this channel and said, LA, they haven't done the second stimulus. Can you find me money? And I did. Then, when third stimulus was in the works, I had an exclusive of the legislation. And I said, if this becomes law, there's going to be a lot of this purple money in there. And it became law. And I said, now you've been trained how to get the money. Now go get it. Get about $15,000 from third stimulus. Viewers got a lot more. Viewers got a lot more. They averaged about $45,000 from this money at the time. Let's look at the success stories, even to this day. $20,000 to $30,000 for rent. Utilities. Mark's brother-in-law got $15,000. SNAP. Mark's brother-in-law got $25,000 over 10 years as $250,000. Combination of the items. Niecy's almost at $50,000 right now because she and Mark and Lorraine and Margaret and other viewers listen and learn, and Johnny, they keep on going back and getting sums of money because that's what I tell viewers. If you got a check yesterday for $800, don't stop. Go get another check. The money's available today. Don't wait for the money to dry up because then you're going to ask for it and it won't be there anymore. Niecy went from $23,000 to $50,000. Johnny went from $32,000 to $50,000, then $100,000. Then he got check B just a few days ago. $166 he's at. Lorraine, she was at $105. Now she's at $120. How do you get that incredible check C? You know the routine, but it's a little bit different with check C. Step 1, subscribe to this channel. Step 2, become a member. Become a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. Then go down in that membership newsletter to find Check C. When you see Check C, you are going to be told in the membership newsletter where to call, what to say, and how to say it. And there you go. That fourth stimulus check is in every U.S. state, and in the case of Check D, there are also some Check Ds in some states. Don't just wait around for Check D. Get A, B, and C as well. And there you go. Let's recap what you need to do to get these incredible checks. First, do you qualify? Yes. The only people who don't qualify are people who make too much money. Number 2, you want to subscribe under the video. 3, you want to hit that little bell under the video. It says alert. Hit it to all. Number 4, become a member where it says join the channel. Hit the link and become a Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP member. At 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, you will get an alert from YouTube that says new LALATE post. That's Pacific Standard Time. So if you're East Coast, it's 10 o'clock. If you're Central, it's 9. Right under that alert from YouTube, new LALATE post, it'll say newsletter. And lower it'll say click the link to go to the post. You click the link and you go right in the post. And there it is. Go get Check A, click. Check B, click. And Check C, pick up the phone and call. At least 15 phone calls. And there you go. In the next 90 days, this economy is going to be far worse. In the next 90 days, people are going to be showing up and asking for stimulus. This weekend, this channel has had the highest traffic this channel has had on a weekend for many, many weeks. Why? Because the number one story in this broadcast and media right now of any genre is the economy. Everyone's talking about this economy. And I got to tell you, it's times like this that you'll wonder, why were people listening somewhere else? It was just last week that you and I were having the discussion in the live chat about this analyst that said, everyone has a job and no one's being laid off. You and I weren't buying it. Let me tell you where the status is of this economy tonight and where the analysts are still sometimes off to left field. Number 1, When you look at the stock market crash of 2022, some analysts believe that this is the bottom. It's not even the start. The stock market is down 26% year to date. That's the whole market. But that's the type of number you would see in a bear market. In a recession, you don't go down 26%, you go down 48%. So we're only halfway down on that front. Number two, the auto industry, you already saw that data early in this recording, they're going to go a lot lower because they're still not being impacted by the higher gasoline prices and the lack of consumer confidence. Less people are going to be buying cars. I see big problems in the auto industry. Huge problems. I think they're going to be one of the worst hit industry. Number three, travel and leisure. The airlines thought over Memorial Day weekend they could jack up your price of the domestic U.S. fare to $500 average. That was nearly 200% up. Are they going to continue to get those numbers? No. Are consumers going to spend through the teeth to travel? No. Airlines are jacking up the prices because they refuse to absorb the cost for higher jet fuel prices. They're going to lose a consumer. The airlines are going to have big financial problems. Big financial problems. And you know what happens for that is in travel leisure. Hotel will have the same problems as well, or hospitality. What about housing? Housing is going to be the biggest bust of the year. Housing is being dominated by a bunch of people who have their heads screwed on backwards. I got to tell you, it is led by the home builders who are absolutely head screwed on backwards, I was going to say something else, and the realtors. What's happening? They have higher material costs because of supply chain disruption, and they have higher costs because of subcontractors, labor, which is going to change. Subcontractors' prices are going to come down because of the labor situation we talked about early in this recording. But what are the home builders doing? They're jacking up the prices and thinking you're going to pay. Of course you're not. You're not going to pay higher in June than you paid in February. The economy is 1,000% worse than it was in February. And everyone knows the housing market crash is underway. Number two, you can't afford it. You can't afford a 5% mortgage rate when it's 3% in February. Guess what? It's going to 6%. And as it goes to 6%, guess what's going to happen? The sellers who thought they're going to gouge you with a massive price escalation, they may have just bought the house last year and put $2 of redo on the house and trying to get a big profit level. They're going to lose their shirt. That's why housing prices have been slash over the last few weeks. Totality is that the situation that today you have here, you know within 90 days things are going to go worse. There's a difference between what we know and what we predict. We certainly know certain things are going to happen. We know that rates are going to go higher with Jay Powell. That means mortgages are going to go higher. That means debt elements like, credit card debts are going to go higher. We know unemployment is going to go higher. We know consumer confidence is going to go lower. So if you see all those things, and gasoline is going to go higher, all these things snowballing, why would you wait? You don't wait. You don't wait. You know what this reminds me of tonight as the top of my head? It just comes right off the top of my head tonight. It reminds me of the very first day of this channel. One of the first recordings of the very first day of this channel, which was April 25th, 2020, I said there's a new program going live in the United States economy. It's called PUA. If you are an independent contractor and you got laid off because of the lockdown of the pandemic, it's a brand new program. Let me explain how it works to you, is what I said. And go get it. I said the application is going live on April 28th. That's what I said. They did. Well, generally. A few states got delayed for a few weeks, and some got delayed for about a month. But they started receiving the applications on April 28th. What happened? Viewers who listened to me and got their applications in ahead of time, because they did allow the applications ahead of time, they, in the states that went live on April 28th, got paid on April 28th. On the ones that went live on the 29th, they got paid on the 29th. For the viewers who waited to apply on the 28th, guess how long they had to wait? I had one viewer, Eileen Bellenkamp. She had to wait in Florida for 3 months to get paid $15,000. Imagine the impact today if I was going to tell you I have $15,000 and you really need it, you just got laid off, but you got to wait 3 months to get it. Imagine if you're watching this video tonight and I said, you just got laid off, and you say yes. I got $15,000, but you got to wait 3 months. I'm not going to wait $15,000 for 3 months for $15,000. Right now, I got laid off. That is what the status is tonight. And the status tonight is that you're sophisticated, you're on top of it, you're here ahead of time, you're available to get the money right now, and in 90 days from now, there's going to be a lot of people who are uninformed scampering left and right. I got laid off. Where's my PUA? There's none. I got laid off. Where's my PUC? There is none. I got laid off. Where's my FPC? There is none. I'm losing my business. Where's that EIDL? There is none. What do you mean there is none? And we're not even talking about the recession of 2023. One of the narratives I've been making very clear over the last few days is that I can't tell you what Congress is going to do in 2023. I cannot tell you. I believe that the Congress will fall to the Republicans. The Republicans will control the Congress, and what type of stimulus they'll do for the recession will just be small businesses again and nothing for the working American. I don't know. Maybe they do nothing, but you can't roll the dice. You can't roll the dice. A forced stimulus check is in every U.S. state, and the ability to get that check is there now. You don't want to wait. You don't want to wait a minute. You don't want to wait a week. You don't want to wait a day. When these checks went live back in March, I said you got to get them within 24 hours. At the time, I used one of the examples, which dates back again to the first day of this channel, for the EIDL grant. When the EIDL grant went live a second time, the money opened up on a Monday, and by Tuesday, they were processing the money from Monday into people's bank accounts. By Tuesday, the applications will still be accepted. By Wednesday, they're accepting the applications, and by Thursday, they shut it down. They never paid anyone who applied on Tuesday or Wednesday. Imagine that 48-hour turnaround time in the thick of a pandemic. Well, if I just told you earlier in this recording that this economy is going to be far worse than a pandemic in January 2023, why would you wait? If I told you that where we're going to go in September is going to be the exemplary or the mere comparison of the pandemic start of a lockdown from 2020, why would you wait? Imagine if you had the ability to go back in time and get all the stimulus like EIDL grant and PUA ahead of the lockdown in March of 2020, you would get it. If you had a crystal ball and you could go back in time and get the money before the lockdown happened, you would have gotten it. Tonight, I'm telling you that there's a version of the lockdown coming. You're not going to be on lockdown, but the same economic environment's coming, and it's coming in just a few weeks. In September, you're going to see an economy that mirrors what happened during the lockdown. And with that, I'm giving you a big leeway. I'm giving you a big leeway in June to get money in June before the financial downward spiral that is going to be so significant happens in September. It's not just a few days. I'm giving you a few months. That is why you can't wait. Step 1, subscribe to this channel. Step 2, go down on the video where it says join here. And step 3, click the link and become a member. Get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, via the YouTube alert system. You deserve every check that's available, and you want to get each check that's there and keep on getting checks one after another after another. As inflation goes higher, as unemployment surges, as the downward spiral of this economy continues, as the concern about gas prices continue to go higher, what's next in the next 90 days? What's next in the 90 days is that you'll need someone to guide you through this tsunami, this hurricane, this storm that's called the U.S. economy. You're going to need someone to guide you through this economy because put aside sports, put aside entertainment, put aside local and national news or politics, the economy is going to be the number one broadcast news subject of this economy by September. And who's going to be here with you? Me. LATE's going to have a brand new look and a brand new focus come in less than 90 days. Tell your friends, come on over, subscribe to this channel. This is currently the number 3 most watched financial news channel in America. We look to be number 2 in the streaming platform and in broadcast media. We look to be number 2 in the United States, and we have a big plan ready for you in less than 90 days. You need a hand by your hand. You need a soul by your soul. You need a community by your community to guide yourself through the worst financial downturn of an economy of a generation. And LA will be here as it launches a new look and a new approach in less than 90 days. And with that, subscribe to this channel. Stay with me throughout tonight's broadcast as programming continues. Evenings LA every night in prime time at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Evenings countdown at 6. 7 o'clock is Street and Stimulus. 8 o'clock is Extra. 9 o'clock is Sunset. And our hit show, LA Live, starts every night at approximately 5:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, God bless. Stay informed, stay focused, get every pot of money that you can. Don't wait. This money is available for you today. Get the money, get more money, and then get more money thereafter. Stay informed, stay focused, have a beautiful night, and stay with LA for more.